Hi, welcome to this SQL tutorial video, and today we're going to look at unions and union alls. So the union and union all statements, they are used to combine data sets into one large data set. So on screen I've got two bits of SQL that are providing two sets of results. They are similar results in that they're returning people. The upper set is returning all those with the gender of M, and the lower set is returning all those with date of birth in the 1980s. So what I want to do is I want the results of these two queries to be in one large result set. So I can do that by doing union all. And what that does is it will take, so if we look here, there's 328 rows between the two. The upper one's got 206 rows and the lower one's got 122. So if I run this now, what we'll see is instead of having two distinct result sets, we've now got 328 rows showing all of the results from the two queries above in one data set. Using the union all, it performs the upper select first, then it performs the lower select. So what we're seeing here is the first 206 rows are the results of the first select. So you'll notice they are all gender M. If we go all the way down here to line 206, after 206, we're now getting the lower set. So we've got those people born in the 80s, regardless of gender. An alternative, see what the union all is doing is it's giving you everything. So it's bringing all 206 here, then 122 here. Usually when you're doing this sort of thing, if there are duplicates, you don't want to see duplicates. So for example, we've got this entry here from Michael Rahim, born in the 80s with a gender of M. So he will fall in this first result set and he will fall in this second result set. So here he is here in this second result set, and somewhere in this first result, although I have to look for him, he'll be there as well. We don't want the duplicates, so in order to get rid of the duplicates we need to get rid of the all. So if we just do a union, it still joins both the set of results into one, but it orders them, and when it orders them it does a distinct, so that it removes the duplicates. So now we're down to 242 distinct entries. So the Michael Rahim that we found before will only exist once. There he is. So a union or a union all, they're very handy depending on what you want to do. Sometimes you might want the duplicates, sometimes you might not. There are rules to using unions. First of all, you're not limited to two. If I do another union here, I can do oops. If I just quickly pop something in here. If we run this now, we get an extra row, 241 rows, and if we go down to the F, you'll see a line that is first. So we can have as many unions as we like here. We're not limited to just a couple. Secondly, when you're unioning two or more sets of results, they've got to be the same data types and the same amount of columns, which kind of makes sense because you are returning a table of data. So it's hard to have one table that's got 4 columns and one that's got 6 columns. And equally, it's hard to have one data that's storing dates in the third column that's storing numbers or text in the third column of another set of data. So if I were to switch this about and I was to put the date of birth column here in this first one at the end, and I try and run that, it doesn't like that. It'll say, hold on, you can't convert a date to a string. So there's some rules there. Now what you can do, as long as the data types are the same, it's happy. So if we grab this, let's think, if we take the job title and put it here, and we take the last name and put it here, it's SQL. The union's not bothered. So you're seeing here in last name, you're seeing these job titles here in some cases because the because I've mixed up the order of the columns. Because that's a text column and that's a text column, SQL isn't bothered that one has been transposed with the other. It's data types that are important to it and the amount of columns. If I suddenly throw another column in here, so I've got now a sixth column, oops, if I try and run that, it'll say you can't do that. You must have the same amount of columns. Ooh. So I'll get rid of that. Last thing to talk about is doing an order by. So if you wanted to order by, if you were doing a union all, so let's do union all, we're going to get 328 rows. Let's say this first row we're going to put a 1 as a sixth column, and the second row we'll put a 2. Now when we run this, you'll note now that in this sixth column here, you can see all the 1s and all the 2s. If we actually want to order by the first name, say, if we try and put the order by here, the union won't like it, because this isn't the end of the SQL anymore. There's suddenly a union, so it's like putting the order by right in the middle of a large bit of SQL, so it doesn't fit there. So let's get rid of that. So the order by has got to go at the end of your union statement. Oops. And then now you can see it's ordered by first name. You can see the 1s and 2s because you can see that Alan Brewer, born in the 80s with the gender of M, so he exists in both result sets, so he's shown twice. Now if I were to get rid of this all in this case and run it again, we're still going to see Alan Brewer twice, because now we've added this 1 and 2 here, which makes these lines no longer duplicate. So when it's doing its distinct, these are no longer distinct because there's a 1 in one column and a 2 in the other column. So if I get rid of that and run that, Alan Brewer is only listed once. That's the end of this video. I hope you found it helpful. Any feedback or comments would be appreciated. It helps me with my content. Thanks very much. See you next time.